What's up everyone, welcome back to another What If video. On the last part, we saw what happened at the Universe 6 tournament, and how Broly has adjusted to his new life on Earth after the encounter he had in Part 3. The tournament showed the fruits of training for Gohan and Videl especially, who is now actually able to fight well on her own. And she is, at the bare minimum, similar to other humans in terms of battle knowledge and power now as well. Gohan was also shown to be much more powerful, and now has finally unlocked Super Saiyan Blue, as well as the ability to stack Ultimate on top of it like he did with Super Saiyan God. This ends up leading to the next arc. We left off last time with the introduction of a familiar yet different villain, Gohan Black. Let's get into it. At Capsule Corp, Trunks' time machine appears out of nowhere, much to the surprise of Bulma, who contacts Goku and Vegeta who are on Beerus' planet. At the moment, Gohan's not with them because he's working at the university, but he'll show up eventually. They arrive on Earth with Beerus and Whis, and they find Trunks to be unconscious, as he begins to wake up. He's elated to see Goku and Vegeta. He doesn't attack Goku this time, for obvious reasons. Goku gets a senzu bean for Trunks as he fills everyone in on what just happened and why he's back. He fills them in on what happened, and how there's this guy going around that looks exactly like Gohan. This confuses everyone since they knew Gohan died in Trunks' timeline, but Trunks makes a notable distinction. His Gohan had a scar on his face and was missing an arm, as well as having a different hairstyle. But the Gohan he saw had no scar, and he had both arms, and his hair looked different from what he knew. However, he still knew it was Gohan despite the differences. In the meantime, Trunks rests and eventually ends up testing Goku's power against his own to pass time and get some insight on what he should do for training. He also lets them know that Gohan Black killed future Bulma, as well as potentially killing future Mai, which they don't know she's still alive. Those two factors don't change because although it is Gohan instead of Goku, it's still Zamasu inside his body, so it has the same mindset as Goku Black. Trunks asks if Gohan is there as well, but Goku tells him that Gohan is busy right now, but he can take him to see Gohan afterwards. The two begin to battle at first, and Trunks is surprised to see Super Saiyan 3, but is still concerned that even Goku might not even be strong enough to face Gohan Black, who gets more and more powerful with each encounter. Suddenly, a portal out of nowhere appears, catching the two off guard during the sparring match. Goku's not only shocked to see this, but is concerned as he sees before him someone who looks exactly like Gohan, but is obviously not the son that he knows. Vegeta, Beerus, and Whis see this too, and know that's definitely Gohan, and he looks almost exactly the same as the one that they know. Goku goes up to challenge Gohan Black, who isn't too interested in fighting him and is here for Trunks. But Goku stops him and then begins to fight the imposter. One thing that people like Beerus and Whis are able to pick up is that this guy's ki isn't just like the Gohan that they know, it's kinda different. Alongside this, they notice the fact that he has a time ring, and everyone moves to watch the fight from afar. Goku being Goku decides to not take the fight too seriously, and begins to fight Gohan Black in Super Saiyan 2, and he's at a disadvantage. Goku's a little weaker in this timeline, but not by much, but couple that with the fact that Gohan is more powerful here, means that he's going to have trouble dealing with Gohan Black. When he fought Goku Black in canon, he fought him at Super Saiyan 2, and they were around the same level. But here it's not enough. He goes to Super Saiyan 3 after feeling how strong this guy is, just to test himself. Suddenly, another source of ki appears, Gohan. After feeling the rising ki of Goku in some unknown source, as well as one source that kinda felt like Trunks, he instantly got over to the area they were at after he was finally done with his work at the university. And he didn't have time to change into his normal fighting clothes, but his next best option was to change into the Great Saiyaman gear since he had that on hand with the watch, and it was an instant change. He was lucky to have the watch on him, so he's in the same Buu Saga attire as he didn't want to destroy the clothes that he had on before by fighting in them. He appears and blocks a punch from Black, and Gohan Black wants to know who this guy is. Gohan is shocked too as he sees what looks like himself, and he removes his glasses and bandana. Black is excited to see that it is Gohan, the same one he stole his body from, and wants to fight him to measure his power. He's about to attack, but then he's interrupted as a portal appears behind him. Gohan doesn't know who this is, but Goku yells at him to not let Black get away, and Gohan quickly powers up and fires a Masenko at Black. Black is partially in the portal when this happens, and the attack doesn't hit him fully, but it injures him pretty badly. It completely takes his arm off and injures his left side, creating a similar look to the Gohan that Trunks knew before. He vanishes into the portal, cursing himself. The same mortal he stole a body from is the one who currently bested him. Goku and Gohan then descend as Gohan greets Trunks again, who's amazed yet not surprised to see that Gohan is still insanely powerful, although he's in a weird getup. Wait, so how did Gohan get here in the first place? Trunks is confused, but Gohan explains that he did so by using a technique he picked up from his training: instant transmission. I did this in my what if about Frieza killing Gohan, which you can watch linked at the top of this video. It made sense there despite it sounding a little odd, but I feel doing this makes more sense here. All of the back and forth trips to Beerus' planet made Goku realize that, while it doesn't take too long, going back and forth to get Gohan with instant transmission is a waste of time when he could just teach Gohan to do the technique on his own, so he can go there by himself. Not only is it practical for that kind of travel, but it's useful in battle, so it makes sense to have Gohan learn it. Over several training sessions on Beerus' planet, in their downtime, Goku was able to teach Gohan the basics of instant transmission. This will be helpful for him later on. Anyways, Trunks fills him out on what's happening, and Gohan is completely lost like everyone else, not sure what to make of this. After this encounter, Vegeta and Goku go off to train on their own to prepare for the future, while Bulma continues working on the time machine. Gohan invites Trunks over to his house to introduce Trunks to his new family. Trunks is pretty surprised to see that Gohan is a family man now, yet is still pretty strong. He meets Mr. Satan again, and he sees Pan as well as Videl, and sees that she's pretty strong too considering her circumstances as a human, and having a late start as Gohan tells him. Gohan tells Trunks about how they trained together a lot, and she wanted to get stronger just like he was. And since you guys seem to like it better, Videl also keeps the same look she had in the last part. Gohan takes this opportunity to spar with Trunks and train him a bit, which Trunks jumps at the opportunity to do. This would be just like old times for him, training with Gohan once again. Except this time, Trunks is actually close to a decade older than Gohan instead of the other way around, because time travel and all. Other than that, it's a nice opportunity for him to test Gohan's power and train with his former master. The two go off on their own as Gohan ends up sparring with Trunks and trying to explain this new ultimate form as well as Super Saiyan God as best as he can, and showing off some cool techniques he got. They don't really have enough time to train properly, but this allows Trunks to learn about how everyone has progressed in this timeline, and he gets to spar with Gohan and sees how far above him Gohan is. Once Gohan shows off Ultimate Blue, Trunks is confident that he can help defeat Black. Back at Capsule Corp, the repairs and the refueling for the machine are done, as well as Bulma modifying it to make it a bit larger since 4 people will be traveling back this time. Alongside Goku and Gohan, Vegeta obviously ends up tagging along like normal after catching up and sparring with Trunks some more, and the group feels that they're ready to head back to Trunks' timeline. Meanwhile, in his timeline, Gohan Black arrives back in bad shape. His arm is completely gone and his left side is badly burned, and he's injured from Gohan's attack, and is nearly dead actually. He's found by another person who flies over to his aid, disappointed in his failure, and takes him back to a cabin. Although you and I are the same, it's not unexpected that one with a mortal body would fail this miserably. That person of course is Zamasu, who's disgusted with the failure of Gohan. Like we've seen before both in the anime and manga, Goku Black and Zamasu did have minor arguments and disagreements, but this development starts to strain the relationship of the two a little bit, which will come into play later. As we've seen before, Goku Black felt no need to wish for immortality, and only wanted the power that came with this body. This is no issue for Zamasu though. He's a little bit ticked off, but being an apprentice Kai, he possesses the ability to heal people, which he would do for Goku Black, so here he would be able to do that easily. While Black is pretty damaged, Zamasu is still able to restore him back to his normal state. Although we don't exactly know how the Kai's healing power works, the worst injury we've seen one of them heal is when Kibito healed Gohan after Yamu stabbed him, so we don't know the extent of the Kai's healing powers. But considering the other powers they possess, it wouldn't be too unreasonable to assume that it could heal them completely. Gohan Black does get a nice Zenkai from this, but as I mentioned, Zamasu is still disappointed in his alter self for not being able to come out of this unscathed. However, I'm going to leave a poll for you guys that will determine how strong Gohan Black actually remains. Does he get his arm back from this healing, or is his arm gone for good? Make sure to vote on this poll since this will affect how the story goes later on. After they've retreated to the cabin for the amount of time it took Bulma to fix the time machine, our group of Saiyans ends up arriving to the destroyed city, making sure to keep their ki in check so they can't be sensed. Zamasu and Black are nowhere to be found because they just hung back and were waiting for Trunks to show up again, but they don't know that he's here yet. They're still at the cabin. After they end up arriving, some of the remaining soldiers notice Gohan is there, and they think he's Gohan Black. They're about to open fire until Gohan tells them that he isn't who they think he is, with Trunks confirming it so they know that he's not lying. The group ends up going underground, and Trunks finds Mai to still be alive. And the group is able to supply the people there with some capsules full of food that they got from Bulma. Now that they're here, it's time to bring the fight directly to Gohan Black, and for the group to find out who Zamasu is and that Gohan Black isn't alone. In the next part, we'll explain more about Gohan Black as well as what's actually happening in the future. What will happen now that Gohan Black is potentially badly injured, and Gohan is actually involved in this arc too? How will the next part go? Will Zamasu's relationship with Black be strained even further? Comment your suggestions below as we prepare for the next part. And as always, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications about future parts of this What If and other videos of mine. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.